Hey, what's up everyone? Adam here with brahwegotthis, and today we are going to go through the new champion point system that ZOS has created and updated that will be live on March 8th for PC for update 29, which is the Flames of Ambition dungeon DLC. This is something that has been completely revamped, and it has increased the CP cap level for everyone, and it is kind of confusing if you don't really dive into it. So I'm going to try to explain this to you as best as I can so you can understand it when you drop into ESO at that time. If you have any questions about this, though, you can always ask me in the comments. You can always come by the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/brahwegotthis on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can also come and join the Discord and ask questions there. We got links to the Discord and Twitch in the description. And I'd like to give a shout out to all my patrons. Thank you for all the support. If you'd like to become a patron, make sure to check it out in the description with the link there. You can check out all the perks. And lastly, you can check out our website at brahwegotthis.com and follow me on Twitter at brahwegotthis. So ZOS announced that they are revamping the champion point system, which I am really excited about. The one thing is, though, is this means that, builds are going to be a little different this time around, and you'll see why here in a second. But the champion point system really did need like a rework, because I felt like it was getting a little stale, and I like the direction that they're going to head with this. It's just something that is very confusing for players that don't fully even understand the last system. And so we're going to dive into a few things in this system to try to help you understand everything. So what they've done now is they've consolidated this into three completely, full trees, right? You've got the crafting tree, you've got the warfare tree, and you've got the fitness tree. And the one thing to keep in mind with all this is the first week of the PTS. So some of these values or things could change from this. So you have to keep that in mind when listening to this video, but it's going to be generically the same a year from now. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be set up like this unless they do a drastic change. But like I said, they've got craft, warfare, and fitness. You used to have 3 trees in the green, 3 trees in the blue, and 3 trees in the orange or red. And now we've got the bar up top here, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. But essentially, this is where your CP goes. They've also raised the cap from 810 to 3600 CP, and that is a huge difference. Now, something I will, mention is, again, I don't think you're going to need 3600 CP to get the full potential out of all these trees. They've even mentioned that you're not going to necessarily need that. You're going to be able to get a lot of value even if you got 810, 1500, that kind of stuff. The 3600, I believe, is more just for that really defined build that you want to do, like a really niche build, or, people that have all that CP, they can, put it into things that normally you wouldn't put the CP points into. So don't worry if you're not 3600 CP right now. I don't think a lot of players are. I think I'm currently like 850 something on my character. And so I'm going to try to go up another like 400 to 500, and I think I'll feel pretty good with the full potential of what I can get out of this. That is what's happening. They're raising the CP and everything like that. The gear cap will still stay at 160 CP, so you don't have to worry about that at all. But again, you're going to, you're going to get your levels how you normally would. You get green, blue, and then red, and just it goes back and forth, right? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to kind of explain to you the different branches of this CP skill tree and like the different facets of it that's a little different. So as you see in the blue tree here, we've got all of these stars, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So basically how it works is you've got this bar up top now. You've got the middle bar for the blue CP, you've got the right bar for the red CP, and you've got the left bar for the green CP. These are going to be slotted CP abilities that you can only get if they are slotted. So how do you know if a CP skill needs to be slotted or not? Well, all you got to do is hover over it, and you can see add to champion bar to activate. And if you see here, the color of these are like a bluish or a white. So all of those that you see, you'll see that they have add to champion bar to activate. That means that if you unlock these, or these up here, or these up here, or these up here, and then this right here, you will not get that bonus unless it's on your bar. So that is where it adds a lot of different diversity, because you're not going to be just getting all this passively. Now, the yellowish color stars, this is going to be added to your character no matter what. So This is something that you don't have to worry about. It will be passively there. So any of the yellow stars you see, you will get. That's the first two main things I want to talk about. So what you would do is you would put points into said tree. And when you unlock these trees, so what you do is you got to have at least 10 in a champion point star to be able to drag it to the active bar here. And so once you do that, you would just drag it there and it would be right here. That means you'd get that critical damage done by 3% per stage against enemies that you are flanking. So the next thing that I want to explain is exactly how do you unlock all of these, right? Well, you have to start with these base ones, right? So the way it works is you got to put at least 10 points to be able to go into the next line. So look, 10 points here, it unlocks this, 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 and this. It also unlocks over here. If I put 10 points here, it unlocks up here. If I put 10 points here, it unlocks there. If I put 10 points there, it unlocks there. Same with this. And then right here, we'll go right here. Now, in order to get into these stars, you've got to go into the subtree and put 10 points in, and that will unlock these right here. 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, or 50 for that at least. And that gets to all these. And then right here, it's the same thing. You put 10 points in, you back up, you've got these unlocked right here. So again, that's kind of confusing in a way, but basically in order to progress to each star, you've got to put at least 10 points or 50, whatever the minimum is, to get to the next branch, right? So you're saying, okay, Adam, what are these purple things? These purple things are sub stars. These are the only two sub stars that are coming with this update. They said that they will be adding more sub stars to other trees eventually, and this is how they're going to expand upon this system. So these are basically just like little lines that you can use as well. So you'll see that this is the only active one that you can put in your blue bar right here. And you've got these other passive ones that you'll just gain if you just have them, points allotted to them. And the same with over here. So these substars, again, will be added to give more variety later on. And right now you only have 2 in the blue tree. There's actually none in the green or none in the red. So next, what I want to explain is kind of what is the benefits of going more than 10 points. Now, obviously, you're going to want to do this for some things, but it's going to be something that is a little easier to understand than the last system. Last system had jump points, and basically what jump points are is like if you don't reach a certain threshold on your CP on like certain passives, then you're not going to actually get any of that bonus towards that until you hit that dedicated or set number. And so, for instance, for precision here, grants 160 critical rating per stage. If I put 10 points into it, you see those little lines there. Those are the jump points. So if you put 19 points into this, you're not getting the next bonus. Okay, you've got to put 20. That is a jump point. So they made it a little easier to understand. So basically every 10 points in this one, you'll get the bonus. But if you have 19 into that, there's no reason to put 19 points into it. 10 points would give you the same bonus, and each of these have certain jump points. Some of them don't have any really. Some of them are just flat like this, increase max magicka by 26 per point. So however many, points you put into this, it'll give you that max magicka, right? So needless to say, this system is going to be very, we're going to have to figure out some things with it to figure out, what builds are viable, what the meta is in a way. There's going to be probably a lot of newer builds in a way because of the way things have changed in this system. I mean, they've grouped a lot of the stars together. For instance, you've got a lot of your damage stars up here, right? You just have 3 damage stars here. And then down here, you have all like, mitigation in a way. You've got like reduced damage, on all types of different attacks. Over here, you have your resources. So you've got your magicka, stamina, and you've got your weapon and spell damage. Got crit, you got more crit, and then some more crit there. And then you got more magicka there, more stamina there. And then up here is like your healing tree. So the blue mage one is basically your offensive CP, which it's very interesting because when we get to the other CP trees, you'll see that it seems like they've got it balanced a little weird because a lot of the really important CP points seem to be in the blue tree that you would normally have, whereas last time you had some useful ones in the green tree, some useful ones in the red tree, and there's still some useful ones there, but a lot of the offensive stats and everything, and even the defensive stats are in this blue tree, which for me is something that is just a little odd because it seems a little unbalanced there. But I'm just going to go through these so you guys know what you have. So, here you've got, again, grants max magicka per stage. You've got critical rating per stage. Direct damage when you heal. When you deal direct damage, you heal for 7% of damage done. 33 weapon spell damage per stage. Whenever you kill an enemy under the effect of the status effect, they explode for 2,000 oblivion damage. In like a 4-meter radius. So that's pretty interesting. You've got critical damage done by 3% per stage that you're flanking. That increases that. You've got increased critical damage, critical healing per stage. You've got max stamina one there. You've then got your max magicka again there per point. Increase your weapon spell damage by 3 per point. You've got increase your max stamina by 26 per point. And then we'll go into that in a second. Then you got, again, all your damaging over time effects right here. You've got the sub tree, which gives offensive penetration, which you're going to definitely want. And that's more consolidated, so that's a little easier to put the points into. You've got increase your increase the chance to apply martial status effect by 30% per stage, which is melee. You got 100 weapon and spell damage to martial attacks, so that's physical, poison, disease, bleed damage. You've got the increased chance to apply magical status effects by 30% per stage. You've got the grant 100 weapon and spell damage to magical attacks. So that's magic, flame, frost, and shock damage. Then again, down here, we have like all the mitigation, right? You've got blocking stuff. You've got reduces your damage taken by damage over time, by single target, by area of effect. You've got these unique ones when you block an attack from an enemy within 7 meters, you deal 5,184 physical damage back to the attacker. This can occur every 5 seconds. You've got when you begin bracing, you gain a damage shield that absorbs 5140 damage for 3 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. When you have a shield or frost staff equipped, your spell and physical resistance is increased by 1900. You've got when you deal 216 magicka damage to attackers. Whenever they damage you with a direct damage attack within 7 meters, you deal that to them. And then when you take damage below 20% health, you gain major heroism, granting 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 9 seconds. This effect can occur once every 9 seconds. And over here, you got your increased healing done by 1 stage, and you got increased healing done by area of effect, by single target, and by healing over time. So it's the exact mirror of this damage one, which is really interesting. And then you've got healing a target under 25% health, removes all harmful effects. Grants 33 weapon and spell damage to your healing abilities, and whenever you drink a potion, the cost of your magic and stamina healing abilities used within 6 seconds are reduced by 75%. And then up here, again, you've got that critical and everything. And then you've got the mid-tree, sub-tree right here. Grants 132 critical resistance per stage. Increase your healing taken. Reduce your damage taken from non-player attacks by 3%. Reduces the damage you take magical attacks by 1% per stage. And then the other one here is for the martial one. It's the exact opposite of that. So again, this is very interesting because you've got a lot of defensive things and a lot of mitigation, and plus a lot of offensive things in this one tree. So that's the one thing I'm really interested to see, like how this pans out, because again, it's your levels are balanced. You don't just get to pick, oh, I want all my points in a blue. They go to each stage. So that's going to be really interesting because here's the orange tree. The orange tree, we got reduces the cost of sprint, reduces the cost of dodge rolling, increase the movement speed when sprinting by 2%. You got reduces the sprint by 50 stamina per stage when you're immune to crowd control. Your next roll dodge is free of cost. After consuming this effect, you cannot gain it again for 30 seconds. Restore 300 stamina per stage whenever you kill an enemy. Restore 300 magicka for the same effect. Gain 50 health recovery for every 10 ultimate. Reduce the cost of your shields by 2%. Reduce the duration of elemental status effects applied to you by 5%. While afflicted with status effect, your core combat skills cost 5% less per stage. You've got return to life after you resurrect with 10% more resources per stage. Increase the effectiveness of your damage shields and damage against shielded enemies. While shielded, your dodge roll costs 160 less stamina per stage. And then down here, you've got increase the amount of damage you can block by 4% per stage. Increase the cost of block by 20 stamina per stage. Reduce the cost of bash by 45. Increase the movement speed while bracing by 3%. While immune to crowd control, increase the amount of damage you block by 2% per stage. And then increase the bash damage by 120 per stage. You got while immune to crowd control, you take 2% less damage. Reduce the cost of break free by 110 stamina per stage. When you're affected with a disabling effect, automatically break free for no cost. If you're using the effect to become winded, cannot do this for another 21 seconds. Increase magicka and health recovery to while immune to crowd control by 40 per stage. When you break free, the cost for your next stamina ability is used within 5 seconds, is reduced by 11% per stage. And then grants 3 health, magicka, stamina recovery per stage, 34.6 armor, and 28 max health. So the weird thing again is the fact that this tree seems more specialized, because normally your orange tree was the one that would be all your mitigation and stuff. And again, since it's not all in here, this is all stuff that really is a lot better for like tanks and stuff. Up here, the armor's nice. The recovery might be nice. The max health would be good, I guess, for some builds. But a lot of it is it's really interesting. It really does feel like ZeniMax is trying to push hybrid builds in a way, because you've got just very interesting perks here. And I don't know if that's where like having like the really high CP is going to really play effect into like a big part of it. But it's just very strange to me, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But another thing I will say is the UI looks amazing, but the way that they have it set up, like with this up here and these down here, it's a little confusing. So I'd like to see if I don't know if they'd be able to like fix that at all. I don't know if they will, but it's just kind of hard sometimes to follow, like, okay, so that goes there, this goes here, you know, what comes up here. You kind of just have to play around with it. And then you have the whole crafting tree. The crafting tree is interesting. This is definitely cool for players that aren't doing combat related things. There are some things that are useful for PvEers for sure, but this is just, again, very interesting because it seems very unbalanced in a way when you look at the blue tree to the green tree. So, you know, the green tree, you've got, you know, reduced movement speed, penalty of sneak. You've got increase the cost which merchants can buy goods. You've got, you know, removes 1,000 gold from your bounty. You got increased amount of gold you find in treasure chests or safe boxes. Reduce the cost of way shrines. This is for crafting. This is another one for crafting. This is quality of treasure chests or items that you find in treasure chests. Harvesting. Double resource node increase. This is the removing all mount stamina costs for war mount. You've got increased mount speed. You've got escaping guard bonuses. Higher quality loot when pickpocketing. This is a Blade of Woe one. Reduces the value or increase the value of fenced items. Reduces the radius so you can be detected while sneaking. And then, you know, you start to get in some of these over here are more useful for PvE, right? Except for this. Decrease the time while it takes for a fish to bite by 25%. Increases the chance of higher quality fish. Reduce the cost of sneak. Reduce the cost of repairing your armor. Or increase your out of combat movement speed by 1%. This isn't too bad. Whenever you use a potion or poison, you have a 10% chance to not consume it. That's not bad. And then it adds 10 minutes duration of any eaten food or drink per stage. That's not too bad either. But, and then you have the fall damage taken is reduced by 7% per stage. So again, you can see that it's for PvE, which is what a lot of people play this game for. And again, I know there's people that play it for all other types of reasons. But for PvE, the blue tree is definitely the one that you're going to want to focus on a lot. At least to start out, because yes, there might be some other builds that come up where you're going to be utilizing more things, and more when they add more subtrees to these, there's definitely going to be some things that definitely come up, I think. But it's again very interesting because I don't like, since you earn your points like green point, then you level, blue point level, red point level, you can't pick like, hey, I want all my red points to be blue points right now. You can't pick that. So I just for some reason foresee you not figuring out like you'll put your green points in, but a lot of these, if you're a PvE player, aren't gonna really do anything for you. You know, you have the weapon enchants decay 20% slower, which isn't too bad, but like there's just not a lot of here that I feel like would be very beneficial for you if as a PvE player. Now, when you go to the blue tree, there's just so much stuff that you really just, it feels like you want, right? You want mitigation, you want crit, you want damage over time. If you're a healer, you want healing. So I'm really interested to see how this system will play out in the next 8 months. And that's why I made this video about how we play this game is going to change completely this year. And if you want to check that out, it'll be in the description. But it's going to be interesting, y'all. And I'm really excited to kind of, dive more into this as I make builds. And believe me, I got to go back to the drawing boards on some builds, because now that we have all this, there's just so much to do with builds. And this makes me excited and optimistic because, again, I would love to see there be more hybrid builds. I'd love to see there be more unique builds where it's not just this, and this. But I almost feel like that the builds are going to become a little less unique at first, because there's only going to be certain stars that you want to put your build into for damage, at least. Because, again, you have things more grouped up now. And since you have to be very sparing with your points, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. But that is my guide, y'all. I hope that helps you understand the system a little bit easier. It's really not too bad once you get it. It's just going to be interesting on how these builds play out. Remember, all the stars that have like the yellow tint, you cannot slot up here. All the stars that are blue, you have to slot to get their effect. And you have to put at least 10 points into certain ones to get to the next tier. And then you do that basically for every tree. So if you like this content, again, y'all, make sure to like, subscribe, heavy attack that bell icon to stay up to date on all the content in the channel. You can always come by the Twitch stream at twitch.tv/brahwegotthis Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can also join our Discord. The links to Discord and Twitch are in the description. Again, leave a comment for me. Tell me what you think about this. But just remember, y'all, to have faith, be great, and I'll see you on ESO.